Creating nice stories with the loving energy. The Loving Energy newsletter, Horse issue number 2. 1. Hello Nice Stories. 2. The Divine Reveals Happiness. 3. Stay have green hill be, why fear no firewood burn. 4. Sekhem Premium Transmission, Edition Turnaround. 5. Everything happens for me, and the spirits have my back always. One. Hello Nice Stories. Hello everyone. Welcome to the Loving Energy newsletter, Horse issue number 2. I'm going to do something rather uncomfortable for this issue, which is to tell you the truth that I am not doing well. Just weeks ago, I was thinking how some people say social media is not real and people make up their fake perfect life online while others feel bad about their own uninteresting life. I was thinking I don't really know anyone who fakes their life. People do post more often when they travel or have celebrations, and people do tend not to share when things are not going well for them. I mean, people in English-speaking countries and here in Greece like to greet each other with "How are you?" How often do you hear people say they are not well? So yes, I'm not doing so well, and I've decided to say it out loud. I'm not telling you what happened though, because this newsletter is a happy place for me and not a venting place. So here's what I'm going to do. I will dedicate this newsletter to myself. I will write stories that keep me going, because since I will never give up, I might as well tell myself nice stories instead of sorry ones. Here's nice story number 1. A few days ago, I had an urge to make a cake. My friend gave me a whole bag of organic oranges from his tree. I found a recipe for upside-down orange cake from a trusted online baker. I was at the village and had no cake tin, so I doubled the recipe and used the smallest oven pan there. Maybe I miscalculated the amount. Maybe I didn't do a good job in measuring the ingredients. There was too much moisture, and the cake collapsed in the middle where there was a gooey mess. Turned out the gooey mess was heaven sent. I don't really enjoy eating cake, you see. Sweet-wise, I like creamy things like ice cream. The gooey bit is like melted custard that meshed the upside-down orange slices perfectly. I heard the saying, a sad-looking cake is a happy cake. I'm excited to finally have my own evidence. May your inside be gooey and happy, always. Love, Stephanie said. The Loving Energy. In the article, I Want to Make a Cake, a kinesiology session story which is published at the Quantum Healers blog, I wrote about 2 kinesiology sessions I did for my friend's children and how I copied one of them to make cake for joy. I put a link to this article in the description. 2. The Divine Reveals Happiness. The Divine Reveal, TDR, is a quantum health process that typically runs for 5 to 8 weeks, approximately 12 to 14 hours appointment time. Mocha Ahern was inspired by Anita Mujani's near-death experience, NDE, as detailed in her book Dying to Be Me, to create this unique modality for bringing phenomenal transformation to committed individuals. All sessions are conducted online via Zoom. The first 2 steps of the TDR process, the TDR introductory session and Dying to Be Me book discussion, are always free of charge so that you will have necessary information to decide if and when you want to engage in the whole process. To read more about TDR or to schedule a TDR introductory session, please use the links in the description. You know you are in good hands when you sign up for TDR because Mocha, the founder, is very strict with the certification process. In order to obtain the certification of competency, we had to facilitate a series of sessions to multiple clients. We will listen to the session recordings and meet with Mocha for reviews. Mocha certified us only when she was satisfied with our performance. Mocha asked some of her past TDR clients to be our first assessment client so that we didn't have to go through the whole process with them, but to go straight into the TDR hypnosis session, which we needed extra practice with. I thought it would be a breeze since my client had already visited Anita's NDE realm before. I was wrong. Before entering hypnosis, we went through the form my client filled out. The only thing she wrote in the symptom section was depression, and she rated it 10 out of 10. She had 2 great losses in her family within a year. Honestly, I didn't know how anyone could be not depressed when going through what she was going through. The session started fine. She was feeling peace, connected to many things, and felt like she was flying freely. She felt she had no emotion but like a flower or an infant. She even received some insight into her life. However, in the middle of it, she started feeling angry with herself. A TDR hypnosis is not supposed to be like that, but I supposed whatever needed to come out had to come out. She was feeling so awful that she wanted to terminate the session. I persuaded her to stay in hoping that she could move through the pain and back to a nicer emotional space. And we did. Eventually she said there was fragrance and beauty everywhere and she felt fortunate. The assessment with her ended there, but I couldn't help but offer her to continue with the follow-up sessions. She accepted and I was glad. She didn't look cheery for the first, second and third follow-up sessions, but like I told you earlier, I did not give up. We talked about whatever she wanted to talk about. We did the guided meditations that Mocha designed for the follow-up sessions. I gave her whatever I could within these sessions, hoping to give her some relief from the 10 out of 10 depression. I stopped beating around the bush at the end of the third and last follow-up session. "How are you? How do you feel?" I asked. She looked relaxed but kind of expressionless. She considered my question for a moment and then said, "Happy." "Oh, I didn't expect that." I relaxed a little and continued. "You wrote depression in a form. On a scale of 0 to 10, what number would you give it?" She considered for a moment and said, 0. Yes! This nice story number 2 didn't stop there. The next day, she attended the TDR support group, which is designed for clients who had completed the TDR process. My client looked happy and chirpy. She looked and spoke like a much younger person than herself, full of life, happy and confident. All of us in the group saw it. She got what I call the TDR glow. Whenever something is not going well, I tell myself this nice story to remind myself to trust and that even the seemingly impossible can change for the better. 3. Stay have green hill be, why fear no firewood burn? The thought of the moon cycle is 留得青山在，哪怕冇柴燒。Stay have green hill be, why fear no firewood burn? There are many Chinese idioms and sayings that encourage people to keep going despite whatever bad times they are encountering. A popular one is 經一事，長一智. Each experience brings new wisdom. Another popular one is 失敗是成功之母. Failure is the mother of success. There's 乾坤未定, heaven and earth still in flux, which means the story is not finished yet. Don't assume defeat. The idiom 山重水複而無路，柳暗花明又一村. When mountains and waters seem to block the way, willows and blossoms reveal another village, tells us that obstacles are not the end, and hope often appears after the hardest time. With poetic idiom like that, I wish everyone can read Chinese and enjoy the beautiful imagery it creates. My favorite one is 留得青山在，哪怕冇柴燒. Stay have green hill be, why fear no firewood burn? Which literally means, as long as you remain in the green hill, you can find firewood for a fire. It goes to the bare minimum, that in the face of great calamity, as long as we stay alive, there is hope. It tells us to retreat when the circumstance is too difficult so as to preserve our strength. It advises us to have long-term vision, to not be discouraged by temporary losses, and to look after ourselves in preparation for future plans. During this moon cycle, notice if you tend to feel defeated when things are not going well. How do you encourage yourself? Do you know when to continue moving forward and when to retreat to preserve your strength? I was 14 years old when I first heard Wilson Phillips' song Hold On. I remember liking the song very much, although I didn't understand what it was about. I didn't even know what Hold On means. A few years ago, the song popped into my head and I put it in my playlist. Turned out one of the Phillips wrote the song based on her struggle with drug abuse and concepts she learned from AA. It's one of those songs that brings me both tears and motivation to keep going. I put a link to this song in the end screen of this video. Enjoy! Four, Sekhem Pyramid Transmission, Addition, Turnaround. When I facilitate land and property healing with Sekhem, part of it for me is like having a dream. After infusing Sekhem deep into the land under and surround the property, I begin working on the building. Rather than deciding on how to proceed or which room to work on first or how, I become an instrument for my spirit team to come through. I would enter a dream state where I simply observe myself facilitate healing. Messages would come through my voice and I record them for my report. There was a deep and narrow broom cupboard next to the garage entrance in one of the properties I worked on. When I opened the cupboard door from the front yard, I saw an earth elemental which is also known as Num. He was in the deep end of the cupboard with his back towards me. The spirit explained that he got lost because he was so focused on his task that he didn't know how to turn around. When I tried to guide the earth elemental to come back out to the yard, the spirit said he wasn't real, but an imagery to help my client understand the situations. One of their requests was to help them move forward with their house renovations. One issue after next left them stuck, and they hadn't been able to continue with their plans for months. The spirit said my client and her partner were like the earth elemental, stuck and didn't know that they could turn around. When I read this part of the report to my client, she laughed. I too laughed, and whenever the image of the back of an earth elemental comes to my mind, I know I'm guided to turn around and not get stuck in my ways. Sekhem Pyramid Transmission started when an idea came to me to share Sekhem in a simple way. It is not how I normally facilitate a Sekhem treatment. What I do with Sekhem Pyramid Transmission is that I channel a certain amount of Sekhem energy for you. I also create a pyramid for you as sacred place, to be placed around you when you are receiving the transmission. My Divine Spirit team fills the pyramid with elements and colors according to the moon cycle's collective energy needs. You can receive this transmission at your convenience during this moon cycle. Here's what you need to do in order to receive this transmission. 1. Get comfortable by either sitting with your back supported or lying down on your back for relaxation and circulation. 2. Give intention to the effect of, I would like to receive the horse issue number 2 Sekhem Pyramid Transmission now to my highest good and will. 3. Relax for about half an hour. That's it. This time, my Divine Spirit team filled the pyramid with vibration of charcoal, pencil, rubber eraser, and note paper. Look up the properties of these items if you feel drawn to. You may or may not feel anything. It's fine. Having sensation is not a requirement. The only requirement is that you are willing to receive. Please remember to say, to my highest good and will, so you know you are in control. If you have any questions, please leave a comment here. I would love to hear about your experience. If you want to share the gift of Sekhem Pyramid Transmission with your friends, please send them the link to subscribe for the Loving Energy newsletter. I put the link in the description. 5. Everything happens for me and the spirits have my back always. The You Are Amazing affirmation of this moon cycle is, everything happens for me and the spirits have my back always. I say to spirit, but please change to whoever you think have your back, like angels, God, Source, the universe. Few days before things went bad, and I had no suspicion that things could go bad, I made the decision that everything happens for me, even if it seems the opposite. I heard of this, I read about this, even talked about this, but all of a sudden, I woke up to the truth of it. Like, it's not just a hypothesis or something nice I tell myself anymore. I know it's true. There's some doubt there still, but it's become so easy for me to come back to this truth. Here's nice story number 5, which I remind myself when I need an extra dose of trust. The spirits literally had my back there and my front too. This happened on a Chinese New Year day while we were living in London. We were on our way to Chinatown to have a Chinese meal. It was a seriously good day for us because we hadn't eaten out for the longest time. We had had very bad financial troubles to the point that buying grocery was a struggle. Somehow, despite the financial crisis in Greece, photomen managed to have photography jobs in Greece and not London. After making several work trips to Greece, we decided to relocate. Finally, the dark clouds were over and we were ready for celebration. We could see our bus approaching when we were just across the road. Honestly, I never like to chase buses. I know there will always be another one. But that day, I was so excited that I was up for some running. It was not an easy road to cross because it was a crossroad and there weren't any traffic lights for pedestrians. The cars had stopped, so Photoman and I ran across the road together in full speed. What I didn't know was that he stopped on the island because there was one more lane and the cars were still going fast. Several things happened all at once. Someone moved my energetic head twice with lightning speed, first to 11 o'clock and then 10 o'clock, and I heard boom boom when my energetic head moved as if it was hitting some wind. My real head remained looking forward, but I saw cars approaching fast from my energetic eyes. I remember those eyes were wide open from shock. Immediately after that, someone lifted me up by lifting my coat collar up, while another someone put something like a huge pillow in front of me to block my progress. A car sped past me with its side mirror touching my coat as I was suspended by the spirit. I felt the whole world was suspended till the driver of that car made the longest car horn as he drove away. When it was finally safe for us to cross the road, Photoman glanced at me a few times while shaking his head. He said he saw me running, and when he noticed I didn't stop with him on the island, he was too far away to stop me. He thought I was a goner because no one could stop themselves like I did. Obviously, do not run onto the road like I did. I also pay more attention now when I cross the road. I don't know why the spirit helped me, even though it would have been my own fault if I had died or if I had been seriously injured. At times I do question whether my invisible friends are real, and this is one of the stories I keep that tells me they are very real. During this moon cycle, say to yourself, everything happens for me, and the spirits have my back, daily and often, and see how you feel more at ease with whatever obstacles come your way. By the way, do you have a nice story you want to share in the comments? I look forward to reading it. I shared another nice story at the beginning of the guided meditation video, sitting with Saint Fanourios, revealing the unseen, lost items and the truth. Saint Fanourios is known for helping people find lost items, but he reveals much more than that. He helped me regain hope. He comes with brilliant light, and it is wonderful to bathe in these lights. Even though he is a Christian saint, you do not need to be in any religion or to be religious to do the meditation. Let's consider him an enlightened soul who is dedicated in helping us. I put a link to this guided meditation in the description and in the end screen of this video. We have reached the end of the horse issue number 2. The next issue will arrive at your mailbox on the 17th of April, Friday, which is the first day of the third month in the Chinese calendar. Yes, the next new moon day.